You can make a real difference in the life of a child who absolutely needs your help. Welcome to SkyWatch TV, a special broadcast for Thursday, November 3rd, 2016. I'm Derek Gilbert. In studio, a guest who you will see featured in a future episode of SkyWatch TV. In fact, during the week of Christmas, watch for that episode. We welcome the president of Royal Family Kids, Chris Carmichael. Chris?
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having us.
Your organization is one that Tom and Nita Horn have been telling us about for months. As they've been preparing Whispering Ponies Ranch and building facilities there and training horses and getting ready for campers from Royal Family Kids. They've told us about the relationship with Royal Family Kids in the past. Your organization is new to me, maybe new to many of our viewers. What is Royal Family Kids? What is your purpose?
All right, I'm so happy to be able to share that with you and your viewers. Royal Family Kids is the nation's largest network of Christian churches that come together to create summer camps and mentoring clubs for children in foster care ages 6 to 12. Our whole purpose is to create a Christian community that surrounds these children and gives them positive memories, gives them a community they can always rely on and trust, and it gives them the fun at summer camp that they never get to experience in normal life as a foster child.
Now, you mentioned mentoring clubs. I mean, summer camp is great, but that's only a couple months out of the year.
Correct.
What does Royal Family Kids do the rest of the year?
Yeah, during school year, so for the churches who can participate in the mentoring club, it's a monthly club held at the church, and then a weekly mentoring with a matched mentor who's been specially trained and screened to be with the child one-on-one at the club.
So trained and screened. What sort of training do volunteers have to go through?
Our volunteers go through rigorous training. So there's 18 hours of training before they can ever work with a child, and there's FBI background checks, and there are all kinds of safety and specific training protocols that go into place so that the volunteers and the community at large know that our program is designed, and the children know, to keep them safe and to keep them on a path to health.
Well, what is it about the foster situation that creates a need for mentoring in children? What is it about that? How does it affect them?
So foster kids have a breakdown obviously in who they can trust and who they can believe. Their entire parenting experience, who they've had as parents, has obviously failed. If they're in Child Protective Services, there has been a breakdown at least once. Most of the time, it's many times. There's failures at every level. If they're not in foster care, their parents or their single parents or their extended family have either abused or neglected them to such a level that the state took them away from that care. That is a huge impact on the life of a child, that decision. Royal Family Kids is designed to give them a Christian community that surrounds them and shows them that there is hope for their future, that there are people who believe in them, and that will give them the skills and the community to make different life choices that have a much more positive impact on their life.
Now, what ages do Royal Family Kids work with?
Primary, so 6 to 12, primary age school. So first graders through sixth graders, those are the kids who show up at our camps, and often we're getting the kids that have been on the social workers' dockets, and they're considered the worst cases. Often the social workers will say, I think Johnny could really benefit from Royal Family Kids, so let's see if you guys can do anything with them. We hear that a lot. We've been around for 30 years. We've had over 100,000 kids come through our program. Over 100,000 adults have volunteered their time both at summer camp and throughout the school year, to pour love into the lives of these children.
Now, how big is the problem of foster kids around the country? How many foster kids are there, and what's the reach of Royal Family Kids?
Yeah, the problem is just huge. There are 425,000 children in foster care. That's down from a few years ago, and that's only because the government really tried to get them off their rolls the best way they could. So they were putting them with near family matches. So your Uncle Lewis, but often that uncle isn't any better than the parents that you were with.
Right.
So just getting them off foster care rolls doesn't necessarily improve the lives of these kids.
It just looks better on statistics.
Yeah, and it costs less.
Yeah.
But 425,000 children, and in our age range, 6 to 12, there's roughly 125,000 children in foster care. Now, we're serving right now over 8,000 of those children. But that gives us a lot of room to grow. And of course, we're seeking all the church partners that we can. And it doesn't mean that an outreach pastor or a senior pastor or a children's pastor need to come to our training and get certified. We certify and train lay leaders in the congregations who feel the call of God on their lives to step forward and say, our church should be doing this. We're called as Christians to go out and serve the widow and orphan. And I'm telling you that from all the programs I've ever seen in my whole life, that I am so proud to be part of Royal Family Kids, because this is pure religion. We know that in James 1:27, God calls pure religion working with children and orphans
widows and orphans.
Yep.
So what the ages 6 through 12, and speaking from experience as the father of a young lady that I'm very proud of, I know that those were very formative years where decisions were made in her life that could have led one way or another, that will impact the rest of her life. What is the difference in Royal Family Kids? I mean, what are you trying to change about their lives at those ages, and how will that affect the trajectory that they take from there?
There's a very interesting thing that goes on for kids in first grade through sixth grade, 6 to 12 ages. There's a sense of belonging that kids start imprinting what tribe they belong to, what pack they're part of. And if you don't step forward and give them the right tribe to choose, they're going to be picked off in the malls. They're going to be attracted to gangs. They're going to fall in with the wrong crowd and make choices where they feel a sense of belonging. Children feel that sense of belonging with people that they are around, that they are familiar with, that show them any kind of attention, that speak praise, whether it's true or hollow. So if you're a pimp at a mall and you're speaking words of flattery to a young girl, and no one else is speaking into the life of that child, she's going to choose that because she feels a sense of belonging. But if you give them a Christian community that says your life doesn't have to be one destined for juvenile hall or prison or the streets or death, but instead you can belong to our church community, you can go to college, you can have a successful family, and we have hundreds of former campers who are now on staff with us throughout the country that can speak to that very reality and say that God had a plan for my life. In Jeremiah 29:11, he says that God has a plan for you, a plan to prosper you and not harm you, to give you hope and a future. And so we tell that to kids, and when they hear that, and they are able to believe that because they're having all this experience that proves that these people do what they say they do, they will latch onto that promise of a hope and a future like nobody's business. And that is the community and the sense of belonging that Royal Family Kids gives them.
We'll talk a little bit more about how Royal Family Kids can overcome the natural self-defenses, that these barriers that these children have to raise in order to protect themselves in the lives that they knew before. We'll talk more about that with Chris Carmichael as SkyWatch TV continues right after this. The technology that's changing the modern military is changing the very definition of what it means to be human. SkyWatch TV is proud to offer the important new book from Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis, Future War: Super Soldiers, Terminators, Cyberspace, and the National Security Strategy for 21st Century Combat. Order Future War from the SkyWatch TV store, and you'll also get Never Submit by Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis, the Blood on the Altar audio presentation, The Coming War Between Christian versus Christian, featuring Tom Horn and Steve Quayle. What You Don't Know Will Kill You: Genetics, GMOs, and the Plan to Eradicate Humankind, a special investigative report from Tom Horn and the SkyWatch TV team. And a 2-year subscription to the SkyWatch TV magazine. This is a value of more than $125, yours for just $24.95. Order now by calling toll-free 844-750-4985 or log on to skywatchtvstore.com. Welcome back to SkyWatch TV. Please check out the exclusive web content at skywatchtv.com and the SkyWatch TV channels on Roku and on YouTube. This week, a web-exclusive interview with Timothy Alberino, the host and director of the new documentary film, The Unholy Sea. Not available on the weekly television program on our network affiliates. Only available skywatchtv.com and the SkyWatch TV channels on Roku and on YouTube. Chris Carmichael, president of Royal Family Kids, is with us. And as children are very resilient, but sometimes those self-defense mechanisms will scar them for life and then also twist their personalities so that this cycle of abuse continues from generation to generation.
Right.
What methods do Royal Family Kids use in these camps and interactions with children to get past those barriers?
You know, the kind of wounds that we see, you know, their physical wounds can heal. Emotional wounds can be healed through therapy and over time with the right community. But children will develop a limp, both physical and emotional. But the spiritual wounds that come out of that are all back to the failure of relationships.
Yeah.
You can't heal these kinds of wounds through a program or a pill. These kinds of wounds are only healed through the power of the Holy Spirit through positive Christian relationships. And showing those relationships will, for the relationship wounds, you have to have a relationship healing, right? And the Holy Spirit has called us to be those relationship builders. And so we're excited to work in the lives of the children throughout the year by giving them a different sense of the relationships that they can create. And that is modeled throughout our entire program, so that we have at our camps and our mentoring clubs, we have grandpas and grandmas, we have aunts and uncles, we have cousins. They're able to see what a multi-generational positive family environment is supposed to look like, and they thrive in that. Yeah.
So not just saying what you've come out of is bad and wrong, you're actually modeling, you know, here is what a good model looks like. And this is these are the benefits of being part of this extended family.
That's correct.
Yeah. Now, you're here in the Ozarks specifically to coordinate efforts for 2017 with Whispering Ponies Ranch. Tom and Anita Horn have been building this. This has been a dream of theirs for some time now. What are the plans going forward in 2017 with Royal Family Kids and Whispering Ponies Ranch?
We are so excited to be part of this. I believe in divine appointments. You know, every Christian who's been working in ministry or any kind of outreach can tell you that God orchestrates things behind the scenes and he loves doing it. This project that we've been working with the Horns on has been such a blessing to us that we've seen God's handiwork throughout years, decades even, as the foundations have been laid. Tom and Anita used to work with my father in Oregon at a different campground. And I wasn't even involved in any kind of camping or administration of anything like that. I worked in the kitchen at the same campground washing dishes that Tom and Anita were administering. But many years later, through years of different work and experience, I was working at different companies. I came to be working at Royal Family Kids when my wife and I moved down to Southern California. And the founder, who was an old friend, called me and said, "I'd like to take you to dinner." And then he told me he wanted me to become the next president of Royal Family.
Wow.
I was surprised and shocked, and that wasn't anywhere on our radar screen or plans. He said, "Just pray about it." And I said, "Okay, I'll pray about it," you know. And I've never had a prayer where you can't even get "Dear God" out of your mouth before it's screaming yes at you. That happened, and as we moved into the organization and started working with it, we saw a definite, tremendous potential to share Royal Family Kids around the country. We noticed that we needed training sites around the country. We needed more campgrounds. We wished we had people of vision that had land and the means to make this into a regional focus. And as it happened, Tom and Nita saw separately a newspaper article about a local program 45 minutes away that they had just put on their camp and needed some volunteers. And if you wanted to get involved, here was the information. And that day, Nita brought the newspaper home to Tom and said, "Look, they have a Royal Family Kids in Missouri now," you know. And my father called Tom for a totally different reason on a publishing deal. And Tom and they started talking about Royal Family Kids. And my dad said, "Didn't you know that my son is now the president?" And so that started a whole thing where Tom and I talked on the phone, and he asked me, you know, what does Royal Family Kids really need? And we need partners like Whispering Ponies Ranch. We need people of vision that can see we can change the face of foster care in America. We can, with Christian communities all around the country stepping forward and saying we're going to wrap our hearts around these children. But it takes training facilities in each region. It takes state leaders in every state to step forward and say, I'm going to be the Royal Family Kids representative in Missouri or Oklahoma or Arkansas or Virginia. We need local people to intervene in the lives of local children. Now, we can train and equip them, but we need places like Whispering Pony Ranch where they can come and get trained at an active camp. We need people who are going to be all around the country in places where we don't have Royal Family Kids saying, we're going to be the first in this state. You know, we have donors who have set aside money to help camps get up and running. We have the big vision of changing the face of foster care in America by those 125,000 children that we can be serving, changing our 7% where we are now to 100%. That's a big, audacious goal.
Right.
Nobody says you can't really do that. With the power of the Holy Spirit, we can do that. Christian communities around the country can just respond and say, our church should be doing this as part of our outreach. Our community can step forward, come to Royal Family Kids training, whether at Whispering Pony Ranch or another one of our training sites, get certified, and become equipped and empowered to serve in the lives of foster kids in their community. And that's how we do it.
So Whispering Ponies Ranch is a divine appointment that may, in fact, lead to other divine appointments to help spread this program, this outreach across the country. How do people get involved if they're interested in volunteering?
There are a number of ways to get involved, but at rfk.org, our website, there are 3 main channels that you can choose. Whether you're an individual and you want to give or you want to volunteer at a current camp, you can do that. Whether you're with a church and you say, our church should be doing this, I want to come to training, you can do that. If you're with a business or a foundation and you want to get involved somehow through that, there's a number of ways that you can do it. But it starts with just going to rfk.org and seeing what we're all about.
rfk.org. Chris Carmichael is the president of Royal Family Kids. You remember earlier this week, told you the story about the woman in Washington State who has been arrested, she and her 25-year-old boyfriend, for injecting her 3 young children, ages 6, 2, and 1, with heroin. What kind of life would those children have? What kind of life might they have if they have access to a program like Royal Family Kids? You can help, rfk.org, or go to skywatchtv.com and click the link at the top, the menu bar, where it says Sponsor a Pony. We thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is SkyWatch TV.